Um, can you guys see the presentation now? The PowerPoint?
Yep.
All right. So, hi everyone. My name is Calvin Lee. Um, Today I'll be presenting my experience uh, um, doing undergrad at Cal State Long Beach, my education background, what I did in undergrad, what clubs I joined, um, some of the research programs that I did, and also just overall my experience, what I do now, um, and yeah, where I work, and I'll hopefully I can give you guys some information for people who are starting their career in electrical engineering. All right, so here is a little about my education background. I went to Diamond Bar High School and graduated in 2015. Diamond Bar is around 40 minutes away from Long Beach, so not so far away from here. I grew up in Diamond Bar, and right after high school, I came to Cal State Long Beach and pursued a degree in electrical engineering. The reason why I did electrical engineering was because I was also always into math, um, and I was also very interested in electronics. And my dad was also an electrical engineer, so that kind of motivated me and had an influence on me. I graduated in May 2020, so I just graduated in the summer. I took me 5 years to finish the whole entire degree, and although it took me a little longer than normal people did, I had a lot of fun, and I gained a lot of work and research experience. And yeah, I'm here to share my experience with you guys. So, let me see. So here is a little bit of my career path. My first job was at my uncle's restaurant. It was called the Garden Fresh Vegan Restaurant. That restaurant is all the way in Azusa, I believe, somewhere around. And they make really good Chinese vegan restaurants, food. If you guys are interested, let me know. I think they're still open right now during the pandemic. Um, so yeah, if you guys are interested, maybe I'll be working there too on the weekends. And then after a year working um, over there for a little bit, when I was in university, I started tutoring at the tutoring club in Fountain Valley. I tutored there for 2 years. I really enjoyed it. I like teaching other people. And when I teach, I feel like I learn a lot more and understand the materials a lot more than sitting in the classroom. So I got to teach math, English, all sorts of different subjects. But my favorite was probably Algebra 1, Algebra 2. Not very challenging, but also very interesting materials. And then in the following summer, in my third year of university, I got an internship at Denon, North America. They focus on making milks, yogurt. It's a plant, it's a food plant, and they are also located in around City of Industry. So I did my first internship over there over the summer. Great experience, and I learned a lot about working in the real world environment. So I definitely recommend people who haven't done an internship do one. And yeah, it was a great way to learn things. And then I just started working at Northrop Grumman 2 months ago. Um, and this is my first full-time job, and I really enjoy working there so far. So a little bit about my hobbies. I enjoy surfing a lot. I got into surfing after moving to Cal State Long Beach, living in Long Beach, and so I've been surfing for 4 years now. I recently got into yoga, and I have been doing that every single day in the morning just to get more flexible and feel better in my joints. So that surfing picture is what I look like when I go surfing because I keep falling all the time. So that's not me, but that's what I look like when I go surf. And Yeah, and I love yoga. So hope hopefully you guys are into that too. I actually went surfing a couple times with Mike as well, so it's a great sport. All right. Now I can talk a little bit about my college experience. Um, are majority of you guys first year at the university, second year, transfers maybe?
Transfers.
Transferred.
Transfer? Okay.
I think we have an array of people, but
Oh,
mainly undergraduate. I don't think you're going to get any graduates.
okay. Got it. Yeah. So I'm sure you guys know the club IEEE. This is one of the main clubs that I was involved in since my first semester at Cal State Long Beach. Um, I was actively involved in conference events and studying with peers. I think is a great way to meet people, and I also think it's a great way to motivate yourself to work harder within the environment with the people and the peer that are working towards the same goal. Um, it makes the studying habits a lot more competitive and more fun, and I believe having people to study together motivates you to get a higher grade in class as well. So I highly encourage people to stick to this club. Um, Not only that you can make friends and network with people even after you graduated, maybe people that you met that has or are now working for a certain company that you want to work for. It's always good to have connections that that you've known from or you met from college. And I also was involved in a social fraternity. I was the officer as a scholarship chair. I did that for 2 semesters, and I was ensured to, I was held to make sure the organization had an average GPA of 3.0. And so I held weekly meetings with people in my organizations, and I would study with them using well, I was working as a tutor in that time, so I would teach them, helping them study, and helping people to develop a better study habits while doing so myself, and also learn how to network, communicate within an organization, which I believe it's very important. Get to understand how an organization work as a whole and have a better sense of team working and just working with multiple peoples. I also had a ton of fun working there, being in the organization. So I definitely would recommend checking out different clubs. I wish I checked out more clubs, but I just didn't have the time while I was in school. I know there is a Major League Hacking Club, which if I were to be back there now, I would be super interested in that because I know they do hacking events every semesters. Um, and yeah, they also have a jujitsu club. They have a surfing club. They have, I think they have a snowboarding club. Oh, and I would definitely go back to the salsa dancing club. That's one thing that I wish I did, but just didn't have the time to do it. And now, if I want to do any of those things, I have to pay. So yeah, it's definitely good to be in college and use those opportunities to network and meet people. And so during my junior year of college, this is my fifth semesters. I also went and studied abroad. I studied abroad in Australia, where it was back then, it was one of the only countries that had um, that had classes exchange with our university, and so that's why I decided to go there. I don't know if you guys been there before, but one of my
What? Are you gonna watch this? No, I have to do this real quick.
yeah. So yeah, one of the bigger reasons why I want to go there because I was really into surfing at that time, and the campus the campus that they were having partnership with was literally a minute away from the beach. And I thought, if I can go there, pay a cheaper rent to live on the beach while getting my education and experience different culture, I thought that was the perfect opportunity, and I don't see a reason why not to go there. And so I did that. Took two exchange classes. They had classes in digital signal processing and communication system. When I went there, I had no idea what those two classes are. I just went there because those were the two of the only classes that were offered that could be exchanged. And so I took those two classes, and I also took a Australian Indigenous Study class, which I was able to get that approved for a GE class, if anyone was wondering. So that was also a plus. I didn't have to take an additional GE class. And then I also did research on the side at the Sustainable Building Research Center. So yeah, that was my experience abroad. Yeah, I yeah, I had a very good time over there. During my research in Australia, I was doing a research on the solar panels on the buildings, because during my time there, they were having a competition on building the most efficient energy. And that was a competition held between 12 different countries, I believe. And that competed in Dubai. So one of my tasks was to find the daily temperature average in Dubai and figure out what is the temperature there that could, and which type of solar panels would give the most efficient energy in return within that sunlight and energy. And based on that, I had to do my research and finding what would be a good solar panels for them to use during the competition. So I helped them with that. I was only there for 4 months with the team. Um, and so I didn't actually get to go to Dubai and do the competition, but they ended up winning second place in the competition. And it was a great experience. Get to see how different culture work, how they communicate it, and just working environment and networking with people from other countries. So yeah, I had a very good time doing the research, a lot more than studying the classes over there, just because the classes offered in Australia were a lot more different in the way that there were no labs, and it was exams oriented, and they had one final, and that basically determined your whole entire grade, and that just wasn't something for me. So I had more fun surfing, meeting people, going out, exploring, traveling, and doing research than actually attending courses. And that actually led me to failing two of that courses in Australia, both digital signal processing and communication. So I'll talk a little bit more about the courses I ended up taking, my emphasis, the other specialties. Um, can I ask, it's are you guys at the stage where you're choosing your emphasis yet?
I think
No.
some maybe knows their
No,
emphasis.
some. Okay. So yeah. Well, let me see the chat. I
Well,
can
I'm
see
doing controls.
controls. Okay. Oh, so two people said yes. What are you guys doing? Min and don't know that one. But yeah,
Diploma.
Ifoma. Okay. Which emphasis are you, or do you plan on choosing? Communications? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I can talk a little bit about those if you guys are interested. I did digital signal processing, so I can explain further on that if you guys have questions. But I did digital signal processing and communications because I when I did electronics, I didn't really enjoy doing analog stuff, and so I knew right away I didn't want to do electronics. And then when I look into power, I also wasn't. I looked at the career path for powers, and I just also didn't find something that I would totally be interested in. Um, and also, I did bad in communications and digital signal processing. So I decided, hey, when I come back, I'm gonna do really well and do really good on these two courses just to prove that I can do it. It just I was having too much fun in Australia. So I came back. I did redo these two courses, did really well in them. Really enjoyed it. Um, and I that's when I realized I actually enjoy coding a lot more. Um, and so I went in to look into the classes that the emphasis have to offer, and that was also my time to choose which emphasis I want to do. So I found these are a few of the classes I ended up doing, and did image processing with Dr. Haggerty. I did filter design and audio processing with um, Dr. Musavi, and neural network with Dr. Soligari. And I did my capstone design and communication system with um, Dr. Sean Kwan. Um, and yeah, I will, since I see that a few of you guys are interested in signal systems and communications, I can just talk a little bit about those classes. In EE 488 Communication System Design, the course is mainly focused on designing a communication system. So Dr. Sean Kwan, he actually had previous students from previous years winning a lot of competitions. So he ended up got fundings from the Department of Engineering, a lot of fundings actually. So he bought 10 different $10,000 devices, and those are called the software defined radio device, which allows you to work on communication system concepts like OFDM, multiplexing, all that kind of stuff, which is really cool because that's what they actually use in the real world. I know they use that in UCLA, USC, all the bigger name schools. They use the device for their labs, and so that really helped me on my resume, and also just makes your whole experience look good because you had experience working on that. I actually had a interview with one of the companies, and they called me and they said, "Oh wow, the device you're working on looks probably newer than the ones they have right now," and they were very impressed with that. So I think Dr. Sean Kwan's a very knowledgeable professor. If you guys want to get into communication systems, he also does 6G research and does 5G communication systems classes. So that's also very interesting. Um, and then I also did image processing. That one was very cool. Just learning different filters and what you can do, and kind of like the um, pre-working requisite to get into the concept of computer vision, which is very popular right now. So that's why I wanted to take that. And also neural network, also very popular for machine learning stuff. So I also wanted to take that. And then filter design is also another important class in audio processing for anything speaker recognition, stuff like that. And I would definitely say these are pretty challenging courses, but if you guys are interested, you guys can look into those. I know controls is also a very good one, but I didn't have the chance to take any of those classes, so I can't speak much about that. And yeah, if you guys have questions later, you guys can ask me. So those are the emphasis courses I took, and obviously all the required courses as well, which I didn't enjoy as much. And then I will talk about the challenging courses that I thought they were. So I had to retake all these 5 courses, I failed two courses, communication system and digital signal processing, and EE 350, which is power systems, all because I underestimated the courses. I thought I was going to go in, relax, chill, not do my studying, and just get away with it, like high school. And I was wrong. They definitely were challenging, and um, they made me realize that it's not something I can just fool around, and I definitely have to study more to understand the materials. 330 and 346 also underestimated them, but I ended up dropping them instead of actually failing the course. So good thing is that we have grade forgiveness. So none of these failed classes actually counted towards my GPA. And because I get to retake these classes, it actually boosted my GPA when I came back and had a better understanding and got a better grades on the second round. So I would recommend for people who sometimes feel like it's very overwhelming, or feel like are spending maybe don't have enough time with their current semester, maybe working too much, or just don't fully understand a certain class and but want to really understand it later on, just maybe take it two times. It's sometimes it's good to just take it slow and really learn what's going on and understand, which will help you later on as well, I believe. And so that is all the stuff I have to talk about for the courses. And yeah, and then I can talk about my research, which I'm very excited to talk about. Um, so yeah, this research I have been working on for the past 10 months now. And I'm still involved with Dr. Ye in doing the research right now. And basically, what the research is doing is the motivation of the research is to help biologists to better understand sharks and to prevent human and shark interactions. Cal State Long Beach has a shark lab with the director Christopher. I remember he's a very well-known biologist. He has multiple published papers, and he wants to use applied machine learning algorithms to predict what the sharks are doing. And in order to do so, he was working with the computer science department professors, Wenlu Zhang, who is specialized in machine learning, and Dr. Ye, who is specialized in signal processing, to do all the filtering process and all the noise cleaning prior to machine learning. So what I learned and helped out during the whole research was I helped used signal processing and machine learning to predict and classify sharks' behaviors. I was able to learn how to design digital filters from Dr. Ye in the real world environment. So not just getting the data, and how I can find the total power, total energy from those data, and how I would implement and how I would design filters um, from those data. So it's completely different from what you would learn from classes and textbooks. It's something you actually apply in real world, and you get to see why you're learning those things in class, and makes things a lot more interesting. And so I did the research for a year. I submitted 2 papers with them, and they also taught me how to pre-process and clean sensor data. I got really good at programming in MATLAB and Python, which is nowadays very important to help you get a job, and taught me how to do feature extraction from the data, and helped me I learned how to apply machine learning models like k-nearest neighbors and random forest, stuff like that. Um, the research is still going on, and Dr. Ye is always looking for more people to help him and in doing the other research, because he has a lot of projects. So if you guys are interested, you guys can contact me. I will let him know, or if you guys want to contact him. He is looking for people with more communication system and digital signal processing background. But he also does power systems research as well. So if you're doing power system research, or overall, if you're just someone who wants to do research and very interested to put in the work, he will help you get there. So that was my research experience, and I believe there would be another green energy conference coming soon, and I would recommend you guys go there. I've been to 3 of those, and that's what motivated me to do research. And I believe my research paper will be presented during that meeting. So if you guys want to see or hear more about that, I won't be there because I'll be at work, but one of the researcher, the student I was working with, will be presenting. So if you guys want to know more about that too. And finally, I'll talk a little bit about my internship experience. I thought it was very useful in helping me getting jobs, and I think it's just overall important to understand what you like and not like in the industry. So I want to talk a little bit about this. I've realized what you do at work is completely different from what you learn at school. And so doing internships will really make you realize that and make you realize what you really want to focus your career path on. For example, my internship at Dannon was having 2 different projects. One of them is the electrical palletizer. So my task was to find the older parts on the palletizer and find the newer updated replacement parts. And the reason is to prevent machine downtime. So an example is you always want to change the components in the oils in your car because you don't want your car to die one day, just randomly die out. So same thing as the machines in the factory, you always want to take care of them, buy out new parts. And my task was to look at, hey, this part hasn't been changed in a long time, or this older part no longer makes any of the new existing parts. So what can we do to prevent the machine to go down in the future? So it was a lot of project management, calling other people, vendors, finding parts, components, scheduling quotes, coming them on site, and nothing what I did in school. But just having the engineering background, I was trusted to work on this. And so that is when I realized I wanted to get into more of a technical side, even though I like the project management, talking to people. I just felt like I didn't use anything I learned in school, and I felt like it was a waste of going to school in a way. And that's why I wanted to get into programming, become a lot more technical, at least learn a year or 2, and then maybe when I change my mind later down in the future, I can come back to the management side. Another project I worked on at my internship was the bar chart recorder obsolete replacement. So similar idea. In the middle picture you guys saw, it's a paper chart recorder, and because it's a paper chart recorder, it was constantly getting jammed. And so in order to replace that, I found a newer technology. It was just completely digital. I calculated the cost, the total cost it would take to replace the older ones, and then the return on investment was ended up being over 100,000. So it was big replacement project, mainly because the paper chart recorder would jam, and when it jams, it would not record the temperature inside the milk, and that would not pass the quality control inside the milk, and they would have to dump the whole entire batch of the milk, and that would miss production, and that would just cost a lot of money, and that actually happens multiple times a month. And yeah, and that's why it was very crucial to fix that during my internship. And then so what I'm doing now, I started working at Northrop Grumman 2 months ago. I currently have helped out on the system engineering team. I have been reviewing a lot of requirements, going through emails and helping them with confirming different things, and also shadowing a lot of senior engineers, how they do things and how they design. I also got placed on a software engineering team, and I'll be helping with projects related to reading the data from the spacecraft and helping writing those data and algorithms for those data. After graduated from Cal State Long Beach, I am continuing learning at community college, just because I want to pursue different positions in my career path. And when you have more knowledge and more experience, you are more open to different opportunities. So that's why I said sometimes it's good to slow down and learn the materials, because a lot of these things I feel like it's so important, and that if you just skip around and not really paying attention, you might actually have to come back and relearn them anyways. Um, so these are the classes I'm taking at a community college, and yeah, these I believe would help me with my career path and allow me to land a position that I would want in the future. So, and that's all the stuff I have, my experience for my undergrad and what I'm doing now. So, if you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I got one. So I was wondering, so you mentioned your social fraternity. I was wondering how
Mhm.
you thought that played in your role as like how did that progress you as a student? Do you think it helped? Do you think it hurt? Was it something that you would do again? Just speak a little more on it.
Yeah. Let me go back to the slide. Um, I would definitely say it's something not needed to succeed. Um, I wouldn't say you need this to succeed, but I would definitely say I feel like I would be missing out a part of my college career if I didn't join. And that's the main reason why I wanted to do it. I also didn't want it to be seem like it was just a whole partying thing. And so I held a position so I can actually gain some experience from that and work on some things. And it was my first time working in an organization. Before that, I never worked in a internship, or I never worked at a team environment, or never had a full-time job. So this was a good opportunity for me to feel that I can, being an officer, I had to communicate with the secretary, the president. We have monthly meetings, weekly meetings. We have things to talk about, how we want to improve our improve the chapter. There's leadership opportunities. There's just tons of things that have to be communicated through the organization, and that alone is a lot of work, and hence I didn't ended up sticking through it. I didn't want to move up to a higher officer position because I feel like it's too time consuming, and I ended up not doing it a lot more. But to answer your question, I don't think it's something you need to succeed, but I think it's just something I wanted to do, so I don't feel like I missed out. And I thought it was pretty fun, and I met a lot of interesting people, and actually met my little bro from the fraternity, and he was a German student studying abroad from Germany. He was also studying electrical engineering, and I got very close with him, and I went to Germany with him. He hosted me for 2 weeks. I stayed at his apartment. He took me to Berlin, took me to um, just drove me around Germany and showed me around. So I think it's a great way to meet friends and meet people.
I have a question.
Yes.
So my name is Danelle. So what experiences do
Danelle.
you think helped get your job at Northrop? Which
Um,
experiences helped the most?
so I think um, I really don't know. I don't know which specific experience that helped me got it, because I didn't have a very strong GPA, but maybe it was just the fact that I was consistent with going through events, which I highly recommend to the JOT events, because they would always be coming to our campus and looking for new people. I think that was one of the bigger thing. I got to talk to one of the directors, who is now actually my boss's 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 boss. So that could be an impact. Um, and also maybe they thought maybe they thought that I had skills that they would need. I was interviewing with them, and they were really, really looking for people with image processing background because just the current project and the program that they want me to be on has a task that requires that. So could be just that, and um, they were also looking for people with skills in programming and data processing. So I think my research helped a little bit because my current task is kind of working similar to that. Um, so yeah, I think my research definitely helped, and I think the biggest one is to show that you're passionate about something, not just you're applying, but you're actually interested. That like I'm really interested, and I was willing to do 10 months of free research and just to get published because I really want to learn this. I was really curious. I want to know how this thing worked, and I learned so much. And when they talk to me, when they interview me, they know I knew my stuff because I was able to explain things very detailed. And I think that could be another reason.
I have another question.
Yes.
So it looks like you're more going towards like the CS classes right now.
Yeah.
So would you, if you were to do your college over again, would you have picked electrical engineering or would you pick going into computer science?
I would definitely pick in computer engineering or computer science just because in my job right now, I have to fight for the projects I want to work on only because I have electrical engineering background. I'm not allowed to be on, well, I am allowed, but I would have to fight for those tasks because they give priorities to people with computer science or computer engineering background because they assume that they would be more fit just because they've taken those courses. And if you're a electrical, they automatically put you on the hardware team. Even though I can still work on software, I would really have to fight for those positions and have to re-interview with different leads. So yeah, I really think I would do computer engineering just because I didn't really enjoy power and analog circuits.
For sure.
How's your work at Northrop Grumman, Daniel?
It's pretty well.
Yeah.
But I'm on like the hardware side, so I'm
Yeah.
completely opposite of you.
Yeah.
Where it's
It's
all
hard to
completely
switch, huh?
hardware.
Just
Yeah.
because they put you on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm talking about. It's hard to choose. I feel like being a computer engineering, you have all type of flexibility. You can do any. They'll let you choose. But being electrical, you're kind of put on hardware.
So it would be a quick question. So would you recommend getting a dual undergrad? So like, or a minor in computer science? Because if you're an electrical engineer and you get a minor in computer sciencing,
hmm
then
You could.
that will open up a lot more doors if you think about it.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. And that's why I'm getting a computer science associate degree at a community college right now. I think it would show that people that you actually care and want to learn. And also, it just great way to know more about those materials. So yeah, I would recommend doing that if you don't mind spending an extra year. Um, yeah, I would do it if I want to spend that extra year. Maybe I couldn't find a job right now at the moment, or I just want to be in school. Then yes, I would do it.
Okay. But what kind of hardware
hmm
projects do they put you on that makes you want to do more software than hardware?
It just it's not the projects they put me on. It just my sole interest in software. Um, that I would want to do just because that's something I'm more interested in. And also just it's more how do I say it? I feel like doing software is you get to more design as a entry level just because you actually get to write code versus hardware. It would be hard for a entry level to start designing stuff as a hardware engineer. it feels like it's more requirements, getting approvals from other people and permissions than actually um, writing something and getting things to work.
I have another question.
Mhm.
So does your team or at your work, do you have to
Mhm.
use Agile or any of those methodologies, or how's your team doing?
No, well, so not for my hardware team. For the software team, I have barely started working with them, so they haven't mentioned anything about agile. The position that I am assigned to task on is it's even though it's software, it's also related to hardware. So like so it's I have to kind of spoof a device, on a hardware device on the spacecraft. So um, I'm not sure if it's entirely software, but no, I don't use Agile, but maybe I could be. I'm not sure yet.
What do they use? They use NASA's proprietary coding index, or are they using something else, or a
I'm
new
not sure.
form?
I'm not sure. Can't.
Uh,
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to answer that.
You probably wouldn't be able to talk about it either because
Yeah.
it's like top secret stuff and stuff.
Mhm.
Really? NASA coding? That's
Oh no, they use the language I'm on is C++. I think Danelle was talking about like the management flow, the agile flow.
oh,
Yeah.
I didn't mean that. I meant I was talking more about the
The
coding
code. Yeah, I'm using
coding
C++.
language. Yeah, so they don't use like Python, Java, or
There are teams use Python and MATLAB, just depends on the task you're on. The one I'm on is on C++.
good to know. What about assembly?
Assembly, no, I haven't encountered that. No.
Not
But I
yet.
feel like having knowledge in that would help you.
Yeah, Mr. Hill.
Yeah, any other questions?
Is Northrop accepting any more applications to the summer 2021 for
So
electricals?
so they told me from my meetings that I've been through, they told me that they will start doing the summer hiring process soon, but they haven't told me when, and they should be doing that um, very soon. So I
So
can.
if you check our Discord and
Mhm,
you go over to our internship directory,
mhm.
I made a post about all the Northrop events that they're
Oh,
hosting at Cal State Long Beach.
mhm.
So they have 2 events that I've listed right there. So you can go out to those events. And their recruitment should start pretty soon because all the returning interns and all the people that got full-time job offers from previous last year had to accept at the end of this month. So they're going to start opening up for new people coming up.
Well, if you guys don't have any questions for me, I don't have any questions for you guys. Thank you guys for coming, and thank you guys for listening. I know it's very long and Saturday, but I really appreciate you guys being here and hear about my experience.
Yeah, no problem. Good seeing you again.
Yeah, good hearing from you, Anthony and Danil and
Thanks,
Michael.
Kevin. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming by and giving your presentation.
Yeah, and yeah, reach out to me. I'll put in the chat if you guys want to do research, because Dr. is really looking for people.
I didn't get to ask. Was the research paid?
I didn't get paid,
Okay, yeah, I don't either for my research.
but he could be. You may, I feel like I could have gotten paid if I just asked, but I didn't.
If you
Yeah.
just asked?
Because I know one of the master's student got paid. The thing is, though, when you get paid, you have more responsibility and you have to get things done. When
Yeah.
you don't, you can kind of just cruise around and learn as you go at your own pace. So that's the things you got to think about too.
Okay. Any quick tips on, like, I guess, through your resume or the interview process?
I would say just uh, interview a lot. So apply to. I literally had to apply for 100 different positions, job opportunities, and probably only got like 20 interviews. And just keep interviewing with people, and you get better from that. And then also looking at a lot of different people's resume, and you can get an idea what a good resume is. What I did is I had a friend who was working at a boot camp, and he paid $30,000 just to be in that boot camp. So I asked him to send me the templates of all the top resume from that boot camp, and I copied the template from that boot camp. So people pay so much money to get that, and I just asked them to send that to me, and I use that as a reference. So just kind of talk to people and see a lot of different resumes.
Oh, okay. Thank you.